World Environment Day was established in 1972 during the Stockholm Conference on Human Environment. It was first celebrated in 1972, and this was led by the United Nations Environment Program, that every 5th of June, we must celebrate this. And ever since then, we have been celebrating it. Millions of people over the world celebrate this World Environment Day. And we expect that we should all join in this campaign to ensure we have a sustainable environment. The first one that was established in 1972 had the theme Only One Heart. And since then, we have had a lot of interesting stories that have bettered different initiatives to ensure we have a sustainable environment across the globe. In Nigeria, desertification has affected over 35% of our landmass. And I can tell you that this has been affecting over 40 million Nigerians, one way or the other. We need to be really emphatic about this. And the federal government of Nigeria has tried in its own bit to ensure that the affected lands have been restored. Over 5 million hectares of land has been restored across the nation. And this has created over 20,000 jobs for Nigerians, according to the Great Green Wall Initiative. Honestly, if we invest on the environment, we can save a lot of costs. You can see what is happening to the coastal Lagos. A lot of land is being lost, which the government has to spend millions of dollars to ensure it is being fixed. If you're an environmental expert and you contribute to reducing the cost of all of these disasters, then you're sure to make a lot of money and, of course, save the environment. What is even very key is the improved human health. We have a lot of contamination that can go around through air, through water, through land. Lagos, being a coastal area, has a very high water table, and the aquifer can be easily contaminated. Meaning that if we do a lot in terms of circular economy to ensure that through sanitation we do not contaminate our groundwater, we are restoring the land. There are a lot of activities that go on in terms of mining, and the land has to be restored. So there are a lot of jobs out there for young environmentalists to take up that will fetch them a whole lot of money. So we need to begin to key in at a very early stage. We need to be very innovative about it. We have artificial intelligence all around us. We need to start thinking. In our age and time now, a lot of people have been adapting the use of data analytics, GIS, Geographic Information System, to ensure we have a sustainable environment. I want to urge each and every one of you to begin to pick interest in the environment, not only because we want to have very good jobs in the future, but because we want to improve the state of our environment. We want to live longer by having improved health. We want to have a general well-being of the entire people of Lagos, by extension, Nigerians, and of course, across the globe. By the 5th of June, we shall be celebrating all together the World Environment Day once again. And the theme remains land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. This is very key for us to begin to create a lot of awareness so that our environment will be better. We also need to key into the Sustainable Development Goal 15, which is on life on land. If Nigeria is able to meet up with all of these goals, this can attract a lot of investment to the environment sector. Only on climate change alone, millions of dollars is out there on that we can harness as a nation, as a state, as even an institution, or even as an individual, to ensure we are able to use that fund to better the environment. And this will create a sustainable environment for us. This will create more jobs. This will even make our land more productive. We have studied in our cultural science subjects about crop rotation. All of this is to improve the productivity of the land. And once the productivity of the land is improved, then we have been able to ensure we have food security for our generations unborn. And it's also key for us that when we restore our lands, the value of that land will increase and we'll be better off. Everyone wants to live in Lekki, but if Lekki is fully flooded every now and then nobody wants to stay there. So we need to be very intentional about having a sustainable environment. I'm Engineer Yusuf Majolagbe, the chairman, Nigerian Institute of Environmental Engineers, Lagos State Chapter, and I wish you all a very wonderful World Environment Day. Keep safe and let's keep the environment sustainable all the time. Thank you.
I am Chief Engineer Olalekan Emeka Sulaiman Ajani, popularly called and known in the circle of engineering as Engineer OES Ajani, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellow Nigerian Society of Environmental Engineers, and by the grace of God and collective will of all environmental engineers in Nigeria, the 12th National Chairman of Environmental Engineers between the year 2020 and 2021. I'm happy to be here to contribute to the World Environment Day, particularly on the topic of community participation in the restoration of land. I need to thank Nigerian Society of Environmental Engineers Lagos Chapter for this opportunity. Well, if you look at this topic, specifically we can talk to 4 major words there: community, land, restoration, as a project. So we can talk about the project. So community will be seen as the local people residing in one particular area. And of course, land is anything that is not here and then is on the ground. It could even sometimes be water. Water is also sitting on the land. So water could be part of the land if it's the surface water. Only the groundwater. And why the restoration? The restoration is bringing that land that may can be abused to its natural form again. And it's a project. When we say it's a project, it means it has to involve so many people to be planned, to be executed, and to be followed up. So it's not going to be just one party. And community involvement may be a key role in the success of such projects. Why do we need to restore land? Why the need? If the land is not abused, there will not be any need for us to say we want to restore it. But if it is abused for sustainability of our environment, the land needs to be restored, hence the restoration. The land can be abused through either mining, erosion, or cultivation. In fact, natural causes of degradation of land is not really as devastating as human factor, the human angle the abuse is always from the human activities. And to now restore the land back, we need to know the kind of degradation that has occurred into the land. If it were to be erosion, the erosion control mechanism, there are so many of them. One of them is creating a drainage system so that water can be contained without destroying the land. If it is mining, in fact, the miner needs to be controlled and guided. These unguided, uncontrolled, illegal miners are the ones that are actually abusing the land more. And if we put all measures in place to get them guided, controlled, the abuse of land by the miners will be minimized. If it is cultivation, because through cultivation, the land could be abused. If land is opened and exposed to atmosphere, ordinary velocity of wind can destroy the land. Therefore, the farmers, whether mechanized farming or local farming, needs to be aware of the abuse of land and need to know method to be put in place so that land is not degraded.
I'm Engineer Nureni Adegboyega Ogunyemi, 14th National Chairman, Nigerian Institution of Environmental Engineers. World Environment Day is a day established by United Nations General Assembly to tackle the problem facing the environment in the world. Every 5th June 5th of every year has been set out for this day. We in the environment institution, we join the world to celebrate this. Like this year theme for World Environment Day is restoration of land restoration and drought resilience. Land restoration and drought resilience is the theme for this world, and the host country is Republic of Saudi Arabia. When we say land restoration, let me just say desertification. Desertification and drought are the two natural phenomena, although they are very similar, but in the severe case is desertification. When a land that is productive, that is fertile, when it's changing to non-productive land, then it becomes desertification. In the case of drought, when the land is not receiving any water again, what happens? The land becomes barren and it will not grow any vegetation at all. So these two things are normally caused by this climate change. That is when there is a rise in the temperature, the sea level rise, the land dries up. So, and everybody knows how does climate change comes in. It has been due to a lot of things that is happening in this world. And how do we prevent all these things? That is the area where we need to plant more trees to provide to absorb the causes of this climate change, which are carbon compounds. When you plant trees, you make the hard grain and carbon dioxide is absorbed. So basically for everyone, because in simple language, in order to adapt a strategy for this climate change is for people to plant more trees. when you plant more trees, you make environment green and it become friendly to the people in this world. So that is just about the simple definition of what climate change is causing, and the phenomenon that came up after it is the issue of drought, desertification, and land restoration.
Good day, everyone. My name is Engineer Abiola Koshegbe. I'm the immediate past chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Environmental Engineers, Lagos chapter. We're here again celebrating the 2024 World Environment Day. And the theme is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. As we know, desertification, land degradation, and other human activities are resulting in drought, climatic variations, and global warming. As a result of this, it is very important that we pay more attention to what we do. It's important that we pay attention to how we do things. We need to pay attention to our activities, part of which is the restoration of degraded land. This results in healthier soils for crops and better farm yields. Land restoration supports the ecosystem in terms of the provision of sustainable environment for plants, animals, and microorganisms. It acts as a sponge for soaking up the carbon dioxide within the atmosphere. It prevents soil erosion and it helps in drought resilience. Land restoration projects provide ample opportunities for employment, especially in local communities where the project is taking place, because it involves the communities, involves them in planting of trees, involves them in greenery and conserving the soil. In summary, land restoration offers a pathway to environmental sustainability, poverty reduction, and improved livelihood. It is a vital investment for the well-being of the entire ecosystem.
My name is Engineer Odukoya Chisun, the FNSC, FNIEE, immediate past chairman of Nigerian Society of Environmental Engineers in Nigeria. We are celebrating this year World Environment Day, and we are talking about land preservation and land protection, and how we can also talk about security of food. This year we're celebrating this World Environment Day with pupils in the secondary school or higher institutions to learn one thing, that we need to protect our land. Most people what we call lands are slum today. They cannot support agricultural growth any longer because the lands are not there. They have been confiscated over time, and right now they don't have natural nutrient to be able to support agricultural growth. So we need to let the younger ones know that we need to preserve our land, and so that they will know from the that what the benefit of the land to us. What can we get from this land? So many infrastructure can be constructed. Right now, these days, you will see landsliding coming up from some part of the nation. Landsliding. So they cannot support infrastructure. They cannot. The kind of thing what we call land, most things are slum. They cannot support also infrastructure. So we need to look at how we can rejuvenate this land and make them useful. Most times, what we have is that those lands need to be properly communicated, and we need to educate our younger one about what the land can be used for, why we need to protect them. Lands is being polluted everywhere. We need to bring pollution to a low level, so that those land, the risk that we are getting right now will reduce. We also need to do what? We need to do sensitization, meeting each other, telling them the benefits of them, and also practice. Government also need to spend money in recultivating those land and make sure that they have nutrient that will aid our agricultural growth in the nation. So this year is a time that I want to talk with our young one in the institutions and in the school, to know that we need to protect our land. So that when you are at any point after doing something doing or has anything to do with the land, then you know how to do what? Preserve them. We need to preserve our lands. We need to make sure that. So we need to talk. We need to talk about tree planting to secure some of this land. And nowadays, everybody needs to plant a tree at some point. One of the ways to contain erosion on our land is tree planting. We need to start doing some of these things and put them in place. So land preservation is key and germane to a man to live on it. Land will live hundred of years before it consume human being, consume properties, everything that goes into the land, and it's what regenerated into soil and all that. So those are things that we need to do. Thank you.
Good day, my listeners. My name is Usuma Usilama. I'm a civil engineer and also the Assistant Technical Secretary of the Nigerian Institute of Environmental Engineers, the Institution of Environmental Engineers. I welcome you once again to the World Environmental Day. In commemoration of this World Environmental Day, we are looking at land restoration, monitoring and evaluation of land restoration projects. What is land restoration? Land restoration is a deliberate act of restoring land to a state that brings about biodiversity and also reduces the carbon footprint for the effect of climate change. What are some of these land restoration projects? They include afforestation, soil conservation, protection of the natural resources. In monitoring and evaluation, it is very important to for the sake of identifying critical points in the project, then also to scale up the project for use in other places, and also for the purpose of receiving grants, to properly monitor the project to get the access, the level of grants to be received. Some of the tools employed in this land restoration project for monitoring and evaluation include GIS, remote sensing, drone images, satellite images. And in measuring in carrying out this project, some of the important metrics being looked into depends on the kind of project. For instance, in afforestation project, we are looking at the hectares of land involved in the project, the numbers of trees that have been planted on sites, or number of trees existing and the ones that are newly planted. We are looking at the percentage of cover of these trees. We are looking at how this project has been able to mitigate climate change by measuring the reduction in the carbon footprint. We are also looking at the biodiversity that has been generated as a result of this project. Like I said earlier, some of the tools used include satellite imagery. Along with this satellite image for field measurement, we also looked at geotagged images and drone images. All these put together help us to properly monitor and evaluate land restoration projects. It is very important we contribute our quota as individuals in to reduction of climate, in impacting climate change and reduction of the carbon footprint for a better environment. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Speaking with you right now is Engineer Ibrahim, the Secretary of NIEE, Lagos State Chapter. My fellow engineers, my seniors have all spoken to you about various aspects that has to do with land restoration. But right now I want you all to open your eyes and see where these things have been done. They've been successful and some are still ongoing. First, I'll start from the local front. the Great Green Wall project, which commenced in 2007, and its aim is to ensure we have lots and lots of green trees being planted across the Sahel part of Africa. It also works by combating desertification and improves local ecosystems. In 2014, the Pakistans came up with their own part called the Pakistan's Tree Tsunami. Their plan was what? To build 10 billion trees with the hope that it would help them fight deforestation and soil degradation. In Peru, the Peruvian Amazon, with its ongoing efforts, ensures it focuses on restoring degraded areas of the Amazon forest. We all know this on a yearly basis, tend to have wildfires in the Amazon, but they are trying to combat that to ensure all of those stops doesn't happen again. Belize has their own barrier reef system, which works continuously to ensure that marine life is protected, the habitat is restored, and sustainable fishing practices are all enjoyed continuously. In the Seychelles, we have the Maiden Island Reef that started its own restoration in 2010 with several innovative techniques to revive damaged reefs and promote marine diversity. And lastly, in the US, the Prime Hook National Wildlife Refuge in Delaware has made massive progress in recent years by restoring wetlands and coastal habitats. That has also enhanced native vegetation and wildlife habitats. In summary, all these initiatives shows the global commitment to restoring and protecting our planet, because we only have one Earth. We don't have two, just one Earth. Whatever we do today, we all shall reap tomorrow. Thank you. Hey everyone, this is Engineer Austin Anishe from NIEE. Today I'll be speaking with you all on the policy and legislation impacting land restoration. The first thing you ask yourself, what exactly is land restoration? It's the process of rehabilitating degraded land or spoiled land through processes such as restoration, soil conservation, and the protection of natural processes. The main aim is to improve biodiversity in various forms and to mitigate climate change impacts. In Nigeria, in Lagos and other states, under the Land Use Act, the governor is responsible for the allocation of land in all urban areas to individual residents or to organizations for residential, agricultural, commercial, and other purposes, while similar powers with respect to non-urban areas are conferred on the local government. So, according to this act, the government has been empowered to regulate all the activities regarding to land, which includes the protection of the land. So what are the possible and the potential land policies that we can actually work on to ensure we achieve adequate land restoration? The first is for us to introduce this policy into school curriculum so you, our students, can all know them. The strict enforcement of the policy. The government should be committed to this policy in totality. And lastly, the government should be committed to land improvement. Now, you as a student, you as a Nigerian, you as a patriot, what is your role in land restoration? The first is to study and obey the government land policy, to be committed to a better and healthy environment, to be the change you want to see in society and spread the message, and lastly, for you to know that preservation is far better than restoration. In other words, prevention is better than cure. Again, as I said earlier, I'm Austin Anishe from NIEE, and we are all here to let you know that land degradation is bad. Land restoration is the best way to save our earth. Thank you.
The World Environment Day is an intentional event set aside for the 5th of June every year, and year 2024 is not an exception. This year's theme is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. So, the planet Earth is our heritage, and it is necessary to ensure preservation of our pristine environment. So, land restoration projects should be encouraged by strong government policies and in line with global practices. Adoption of such projects and sustainable land management systems, water saving techniques like rain harvesting, water recycling and reuse, and wastewater treatment systems can enhance water efficiency, improve agricultural productivity, and build resilience to water scarcity and climate change. Thank you.